of after 2,000 years of banned from returning, the Jews have now returned to the Holy Land to reclaim it as their own. Yes, He gave the Holy Land to you, but He gave it to you conditionally. And the condition was faith in Allah and righteous conduct. And every time you violated that condition, He threw you out of the Holy Land. Do you dispute that? And then for 2,000 years, they were banned. They could not return to reclaim Jerusalem as their own. 2,000 years! And then after 2,000 years, mysteriously, they are brought back to the Holy Land. And you expect me to eat my biryani or couscous and go home and sleep like you? You expect me to be a fool? No, if the Quran says it explains all things, then the Quran must explain to me. How is it that after 2,000 years, the Jews have come back to Jerusalem to reclaim it as their own? After 2,000 years, a state of Israel is restored in Jerusalem. After 2,000 years, that state of Israel now wants the world to believe that this is the holy Israel of Solomon and David. Allah's blessing will be upon him. Could this be by accident? I'm asking you who eat your biryani and go home and sleep like sheep and cattle and goats. Or is there an explanation in the Quran for what is now happening in Gaza? Does the Quran explain to us this phenomenon of after 2,000 years of banned from returning, the Jews have now returned to the Holy Land to reclaim it as their own? If you cannot answer that question, go back to school. Don't criticize me. Go back to school. Tell us what is the explanation in the Quran. We have given the explanation, but every single one of you declare Imran is wrong, Imran is wrong, Imran is wrong, because you're following tafsir and you're abandoning the Quran. What will you do on Judgment Day when you learn to your horror that you have betrayed the truth in the Quran, and that I have explained the Quran correctly, that the Quran does explain the return of the Jews to the Holy Land? The Quran does tell us the answer. How does this happen? It is there in Surah al-Anbiyaa when Allah speaks about a town and that He destroyed the town and He expelled the people of the town and He placed a ban on them. They could never return to that town to reclaim it as their own. وَحَرَامٌ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ أَهْلَكْنَاهَا أَنَّهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ حَتَّى. They can never return to reclaim that town as their own. Until when? حَتَّى إِذَا فُتِحَتْ يَأْجُوجُ وَمَأْجُوجُ وَهُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ حَدَبٍ يَنْسِلُونَ. Until an event occurs only once in history, you and I will recognize it was not these idiots who eat their biryani and go home and sleep, that it is when Gog and Magog are released. And they spread out all over the world. And once and only once in human history this happens. They will take control of power in the world. And Gog and Magog will return, bring these people back to that town from which they were expelled. Which town is it? This is not ta'wil, this is not interpretation at all. We simply have to look for a town which is linked with Gog and Magog. And Prophet Muhammad, Allah's blessing be upon him, he did that for you while you're eating your biryani and going home and sleep like sheep and cattle and goats and camels. He said that Gog and Magog will be destroyed by Allah in Jerusalem. In Jerusalem. What more do you want? Slaves of tafsir, but you abandon the Quran. And so yes, my voice is like thunder, because I've been sent back to the world now to give you thunder. It's time to wake up and recognize that you betrayed the Quran in your wrong views and your wrong explanation on the subject of Gog and Magog. And if I am right and you are wrong, you pay the price for it. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.